Welcome back to the OPL, and we have a series on our hands. Legacy Esports able to pick up game number 3 in emphatic fashion, closing out order in under 30 minutes, 11-minute aces. And those people on your screen must be seeing a flashback to week number 8, Mr. Egium, when this exactly the same thing happened.
Yeah, of course, Legacy now, you pan past their screens, looking a lot happier than they did in the previous game. In order, looking pretty stoic, to be honest.
Yep.
The nerves are definitely settling in. Now going to get their second red side game as Legacy opted in for the blue.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're going to see similar bans so far. At least it's going to be Zaya as well as Zavaris. Things get a little bit dark and spooky in Champions League.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. It's going to be Olaf again, the Laugh ban away. Do they respond with a Skarner ban?
Yeah, I feel like they do, and that is going to be the ban away, so it makes a lot of sense. They're removing the 2 top S-tier picks. Of course, Drews was saying on the cast that they don't think Sybil plays the Olaf, just not willing to pick it at all, but has seen much more success on the Skarner pick, so the ban away Spooks from the Olaf and Skarner from Sybil.
Yeah, and they can take away the Rise, they can take away the Cassiopeia, they can just leave everything up now, as there has been an expanded champion pool. No, they still ban the Rise.
So, Swain, first pick?
Potentially.
Yes or no?
I mean, did the Cassiopeia do enough in the counter pick?
Absolutely did, I think.
Do you want to take something else? Like the Ornn, like the Braum?
Yeah, Legacy, scared of the fact that Swiffer could potentially whip out that Cassio. Or do they just opt in for the Braum pick again? Decoy had a absolutely rip a game on that pick, and was first pick last game, and it's just going to be...
It was Skarner last game, wasn't
Oh,
it?
sorry, no.
Everyone keeps saying it was Braum, but I'm pretty sure Skarner was first pick last game, wasn't it?
Oh, we see it on the draft right now? No, we don't. It's not in order.
Not in order.
Oof, you know?
I'm 99% sure it was Skarner, because
It was
I
Order.
can't
It was a
see
blue
why
champion.
Order would not take Skarner if that was the case. However, Braum is going to be the pick in this game. See what the response is going to be. Sejuani. Skarner was first pick last game.
There you go. There you go. Sejuani will be the pick away. Of course, Zach is the other big tank jungler we saw Spooks play last game. Of course, Sybil still has that one available. Does he go back to things like the Kha'Zix? Of course, game number 1 was unsuccessful.
Do we
but
just see
if
a
we get
Cho'Gath
differing
pick?
comps,
Because we've seen it banned away second rotation, and it is much better into Ornn than both Sion as well as the Ornn. No, it's going to be the priority on Caitlyn.
potentially looking to go back to another Morgana composition, things like that. As do Legacy prioritize the 80 carry pool this time? Obviously, the Ashe is a big takeaway now, or do they think they have enough answers? Of course, it was pinched in game number 3.
Yeah, it was pinched and they still were able to get a good
That's the
champion.
thing.
I mean, and when you think about it, they banned 280 carries. So if they feel like there is a third, there's no real reason to ban that one away.
And this is
Pick that
dangerous.
one away.
Oh, because Swain is still available.
They can take it here.
They
Player
can.
pick his own
So, but I
champion.
feel like they have to. Because if they don't take that one away, or all of a sudden Swiffer can take it, they can ban away the Cassio, they can ban away the counter picks, and then you could be looking at another full tank composition. So Talia is not a Cassio, but does that do enough in the Swain matchup? Because in my eyes, Order should just be taking Swain once again.
Yeah, I think I agree there. I think that the Cassio wins the 2v2. Potentially you can push into Swain, but once he gets Abyssal as well as Merc Treads, should be able to withstand the damage out of the Talia.
That's just the Inspiration Tree plus Abyssal Mask.
Yeah.
You know, the Biscual. And Talia and Kha'Zix is a pretty sketch 2v2, to be honest. It's pretty hard. They have no CC.
They
can't
either
really
one-hit someone
Yeah.
off a flick, or if the flick misses, they're
Then you
like,
have nothing.
you have to bail.
Because like Kha'Zix, he has to commit with a jump to get into that, and then you have CC from Sejuani. They did pick this lane, so they have CC there. They can rip you back. Bot lanes have been heavily impacting the 2v2s in the mid lane, I feel like, especially after level 6. We've seen a lot of Jhin this series, and people just constantly floating up the river.
And
So
Thresh
if you
is
don't
a
get
ban
the
away.
immediate pick,
Braum beats Thresh. They're just taking comfort. I like this. This is a
Braum?
mind game.
It depends on who you ask. Braum
Okay.
beats Thresh. Because like the matchup is incredibly hard, but Thresh obviously offers different things than Braum in a team fight. But if you want to just like play Moby's Thresh and leave lane him instantly, and that's kind of what a lot of people like to play it like the Bard, then some players, like myself when I was a player, and I feel like Rogue potentially as well, has picked Thresh potentially in the past. Maybe 2018 New Runes has changed his mind. I'll have to ask him, but it does get banned away, so he's not going to have the option this time.
Nah would be something very different. We haven't seen a carry top laner all series long. This would open up something like the... No.
Oh,
Damn it.
we got close with a Trundle. We don't even get the It might just be
I was
the
gonna
Sion.
say,
3
Gangplank,
seconds.
Camille, all the skill
Yeah, they're
matchups
all
are
up.
back. Vladimir is even open, and then they just go for the
They're just
Sion.
on tank duty. Mimic and Tally, 2 players that you're coming into the league start of 2018. You're like, these guys, like, they're not going to be on tank duty. You know what I mean? Like, Pabu maybe in the top lane, Swipe 100%.
Is he going to do it?
Jinx.
I mean, what else is available? Ezreal.
Ezreal is the one we talked about. Not a good matchup into the Caitlyn. Jinx can match the range.
Oh. I thought Raid had it there. I was so impressed by Legacy's preparation going into this. If they knew the fallback was going to be the Kate, because it is in so many of these high-tier games, if you have a Caitlyn and a Jinx prepared for that, that is like S-tier planning out of Soul
Because all of a
Strike.
sudden you have like this hyper-scaling AD carry. You have the front line of the Braum with 2v3 potential. You can kind of just flip a team fight with one reset. And it will be the Gnar picked up by Mimic, actually.
And all of a sudden, this is a really difficult comp for Legacy to be able to execute upon. You have two champions without damage ultimates in Taliyah as well as the Kha'Zix. Of course, they're very good in certain situations. You've got yourself a Gnar that needs a window to be able to execute on. So if they execute well in the team fights, as they did in game number 3, this is a game that they can very easily snowball, get ahead, roam around the map, and kill everyone. But if it's a game 1 or game 2 Legacy that shows up, this could be rough.
This is a composition that can have incredibly high highs.
Yes.
But if the things don't click at the same time, if the cogs aren't turning, then all of a sudden, things look incredibly rough. And it will just be the Alistar picked up by Rogue. So you look at Order's lineup once again.
That's a death ball now.
They've got the Scion, the Sejuani, CC from Swain, CC from Ali. Caitlyn has traps. They've just picked the CC and damage composition once again.
This is an Order specialty.
It
I
is.
feel like Order game 1 and 2, they were really playing close to heart. Game 3, they threw a weird curveball. Didn't work out. And then now game 4, they're like, all right, what wins game? CC 5v5.
CC and damage was a 2017 Chiefs meme, so I'm blaming it on Spooks and Swiffer. Coming in now on Order. They don't even care, just the same thing. Which champions have
I
CC?
mean, is it only been the 2016 Chiefs? Or like, I mean, Chiefs 2014 would pick Jarvan, Rumble, Orianna, Twitch, and just be like, all right, have at it.
Yep. That's the name of the game, and they will pick it in this one, Legacy. As we talked about, very difficult composition to execute. Sybil's going to have a very good game with the Kha'Zix. I feel like if he ever falls behind in this matchup once again, is in one of those situations where he doesn't really have a lot of targets to be able to assassinate.
Got a Caitlyn to be able to try and pick off, but Alistar most likely going to be playing buddy system there.
But that's the same one. In the earlier game in the series, all he had was a Jhin. He just had the 180 carry, and then 4 tanky members on the lineup of Order, as Swiffer looks to be pretty happy playing Swain for his 4th game in a row.
I mean, if it's the best champion in the game and you get it every single game, you're going to be happy with it. However, Claire has been prioritizing other things today, and the Cassiopeia certainly worked. Now it's time to see whether the Taliyah does. As we get onto Summoner's Rift for game number 4, it is currently 1 and 2, still match point for Order. But this is Legacy's bread and butter, Bryce. They like to be down 2-0 in series.
The underdogs.
They are the underdogs.
Always the underdog. Swiffer's actually changed his skin.
You have to do that.
Yeah, he lost on the Swain. All of a sudden, switches it out. What's it called? It's not like Arctic Ops. It's the snowy one. He's got a... It's the old school skin where you had the Russian hat, the furry hat. I like that. Yep. And he's gone away.
Raid looking for some cheeky Qs. Actually landed one onto FBI.
Didn't unfortunately get himself a slice stack of gold, but does land a nice bit of damage onto FBI as the level 1 Legacy are actually posturing into the top side. Pings are going out. Of course, Mimic on the Gnar is very good at level 1, especially into double melee tanks like Sejuani and Scion.
Got a big ward into the top side. Rogue's also been tagged up. See whether Spooks goes towards his blue buff or whether he goes towards red.
And it's not the first time they've done this series. Spooks on the Olaf went for the very greedy clear on blue side, and they warded it out level 1. They knew exactly where he was going to be. So the preparation is coming in here for Legacy as Raid on the other side of the map. So no matter which side of the map Spooks is going to go to, they will have vision. And that's kind of weird, because normally you place one and it's either, okay, he's here doing the red buff, or he's not. So by process of elimination, he's doing the blue buff on the other side. But they're actually battening down the hatches. They guarantee that they will know exactly which camp Spook starts on.
However, much better leash is going to come out of Ezreal Braum. Caitlyn, as well as Ali, is not the best leash in the game. You can see Sybil was already racing away towards the top side of his camp.
And this is so important, especially in the Kha'Zix versus Sejuani match. So we talked about how if Sybil does fall behind, it will be very difficult for him, but needs to be able to find his way into Spook's jungle, needs to be able to sort of wreak some havoc in the early game. If Legacy are to be successful.
Potions.
He has. He's got no charges left from the refillable.
I feel like that might have been a double tap, potentially.
Yeah.
Or didn't get the leash that he wanted. He's going to do a one-side clear. Potentially can just recall off the back end of this, go get his second jungle item, and then go towards blue with more potions.
Because he's got 2 options right now. If he does go for the recall, then will be incredibly late to the top
Actually, that
side
is
of the
going to be
map.
Polv into
Oh,
Trap,
Ignite
into
popped as
Ignite,
well.
into First
Oh.
Blood, picked up by FBI and Rogue.
And once again, a very nice trade for Order's bottom lane at level 2 means they actually get a kill this time. First Blood goes over to the Caitlyn, and all they burnt with was the Ignite. Heal burnt from Raid as well, and he goes down.
Yeah, meanwhile, cross-map play is available because Spooks is absolutely sacked. Top lane is looking for mid lane, and that is going to be the never move landing. Where are the auto attacks? One there, flick back is good out of Claire, and that will be all of the play.
And that's the thing, Spooks doesn't have a red buff. All he's done is his blue, so auto attacks means he doesn't actually get any slow into Claire, so all of a sudden trades back a nice bunch of damage. Sybil the entire time wasn't even needed.
Oh, actually gets ripped back into turret, and flashed by Spooks will secure another kill.
That was so greedy out of Claire. Was in a very good position. Never move lands by Swiffer. All of a sudden, Claire goes down. He burns the heal as well. And he dies. No spellbook on the Talia's gone the Aerie, so can't even TP back to the lane.
And already in 1,000 gold lead right now. I mean, this game has been pretty electric already, with good counter jungling coming out of Sybil, but also some nice laning coming out of the Order members.
And that's the thing, right? Sybil had this lead, and it was almost guaranteed as soon as Spooks didn't make it to the top side earlier in the game.
Absolutely. Look at where Mimic is sitting, and look at where mid lane Wave was sitting. That was a free red.
That is 100% guaranteed advantage that Legacy had. All they had to do was survive in the mid lane, survive in the bot lane, but those two plays go incredibly wrong right now. And only 3.5 minutes in, you mentioned 1,000 gold lead. Spooks kind of keeps himself in the game with that kill. Otherwise, Sybil potentially got himself the 3 buff, would have had the advantage.
Will be able to spot out Spooks, so Spooks has to be careful. Probably has to retreat back to his own jungle. That saves a camp, and that means that Sybil's going to go up 3 camps right now.
That's the thing. He sort of sacks himself to get his lanes a lead. The bot lane got it naturally, but burns his flash to secure the kill in mid lane. He did get the kill, but he is down in XP, of course. Now he's going over the wall, just clearing out the vision for the Swain. So
well, he can't start the camp, and his camps aren't up and alive. So you're like, what is he doing? Well, actually, he's just got free time
he's
to
battle
kind of
warding.
do whatever he wants.
Just making sure Claire can't get any priority in the lane, but it will drop a pink ward. And because Sybil finished his golems, walked all the way up, they are able to push Spooks out of the jungle right now. His camp's going to spawn on the bottom side, so he's going to retreat back.
And this is the one thing that Talia gives you, and potentially the reason that Order was banning it, is perpetual shove in the mid lane. So now if you're FBI and Rogue, even though you feel like you have the shove on the Alistar as well as the Caitlyn, you can't really push up that aggressively because Claire's going to continually do this. He's going to walk into Fog of War. He's going to make you doubt whether you can actually pressure turret.
And that's the thing. It's not like a Braum where you can hit someone with a Winter's Bite, and then your AD carry can proc it, you don't have to commit. This is an Alistar lane, so as soon as Order's bottom lane actually go in on a play, they're looking for the combo, they want the E to proc from Rogue, and they want to combo it with the trap from Caitlyn. And Rogue is 100% committed, so if Claire can have priority, can get in behind them, potentially turn around these plays. There's a lot of defensive tools in an Ezreal Braum lane.
Absolutely, and if there's one lane that's going to be able to survive an onslaught, it is going to be Ezreal Braum. However, they saw Claire exit stage right or left, depending on which way you're looking at it. However, junglers are going to crash in the river, and Spook says, all right, you're stronger than me, catch you later.
Absolutely, level down, 3 camps down as well. Has no priority in either lane, so just going to saunter back, and Sybil potentially wants to keep him away from his golems as well.
Actually, they're just going to go attack Spook some more, and you can see that they're actually going towards the top side of the map. Claire is here, and that is going to just be Sybil jumping onto Order's jungler. Will get a huge chunk out. However, now 3 members up here looking for the turret dive, and Tally not yet level 6, and Mimic is.
And he's very low mana as well. They need the Narbar to charge up potentially. They don't really have a tank for the turret.
Down right now. Flashes over it. Mimic will get away with the hop. Tally still going very low. Sybil will have to burn the flash, and now the chase is on. Can Swiffer get up in here in time? Mimic is going to get punched, and the zombie picks up another kill. Claire actually has to flash away. Does Swiffer flash after him? No, he's going to look for Sybil, kind of caught between 2 choices, and it's a 1-for-1 trade. Yeah, in the end, it is the 1-for-1. Unfortunately for Legacy, Mimic was too far off the Mega, so it wasn't a very clean dive. They didn't have the execute immediately, but they get the trade. Swiffer does match the 1-for-1 eventually. The people you feel really sorry for, Raid and Decoy. Sure, it goes 1-for-1, but now they're just getting pummeled under the turret. 15 CS lead is the advantage right now. Level lead as well right now. They will be able to match when the wave crashes. Potentially Spooks is looking for a dive here. They have. He's only level 4 though. He's here. Level 4, as you mentioned. That's going to be a Scion ulti, and they're starting up the train. Headbutt flash pole. Very nice buffer there. However, they will get the stun, and in comes Scion. Not far enough. Decoy will just live. Is the teleport up and available? However, it's going to be Claire looking for a Mimic already down here. Rogue very low. Claire
Order
will
are
be able to
committed.
join his team. Order are in between turrets, and Swiffer does not have TP. He is in base. Claire, no,
Decoy
Tally
lives.
not able to get it. Decoy does live. That is 2 members now falling down. Spooks will just get over the wall, but Mimic flash and secures the kill. And this is going to be 4 members of Order falling.
And all of a sudden, the desperation kicks in from Order. They bring everybody down into the bottom lane. You said very nice buffer from Rogue, and I like...
No, from Raid I meant.
Yeah, okay, because I was like, I like the idea that W flash pole to get onto both members, but Raid predicts the play. MVP of that fight right there. The reason they can turn it around is because he lives for so long. He can continue to output damage, and Claire can get down there to the fight. They turn this one around. All of a sudden, every play that Order have been looking for so far. Spook's level 4, as you mentioned, and that's the E. The Arcane Shift out of Raid means he does not die. So Rogue tried to land the combo. Decoy falls very low, but the fact that he doesn't die is just so big. Claire comes through, and at this point, Swiffer is in base. He doesn't have his TP. It is unavailable right now. So once Claire arrives, it's just 5v4 in between the turrets. Order have literally nowhere to go. They just get clean up on the back end. Tally, unfortunately, can't get the kill for Decoy. Mimic has to burn his flash to pick up the kill on the end of this one on Tally. Sorry, on Spooks, rather.
This was pretty massive that FBI was
one
able
auto.
to get a kill, because if he didn't, that is a 0 for 4 trade.
That's nothing.
1 for 4 is better than 0 for 4.
It absolutely is. It's kind of the saving grace right now. The gold lead isn't too heavily in favor of Legacy, of course. CS leads kind of across the board, bar top lane and the jungle, but in both carry positions, Order are ahead, but very nice play out of Legacy so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And the real big beneficiary of this, again, has been the top side duo in Mimic plus Sybil. You can see already level 6, got through that early game unscathed. Now we'll be able to look to assassinate Swiffer if he ever is caught out of position. Meanwhile, Tally on the tank is a level behind, is 15 CS behind when he only has 60. That's a quarter. And he's going to be repetitively visited up in this top side of the map.
This is the problem. Claire has the priority with the blue buff. He can keep bringing his jungler up as well. 3v1, Tally really stands no chance right now. He burns the ulti.
To get
Can
away.
he block it? He can.
We'll look to flick him back. Can he go for it? And Tally stepped back into him, and that means he will fall down. Beautiful play out of Claire, but Order are going to push for 2 turrets in response. Potentially,
that's a full HP turret, though. The bottom lane of Legacy are actually walking up. They sacrificed the low one in the bottom lane. They need to defend the mid. So this one will be at least a 1-for-1.
They actually go for the play. They throw the ulti. They fling in Decoy. However, now he just starts pummeling. And Sybil is here. No soul shards going to be picked up by Swiffer. And Spooks is so low. Flashes away. Sybil going to look for the execution. No, does not commit. Gets dragged back, however, and into bird form goes Swiffer. Now, all of a sudden, Tally is also here. Swiffer is going forward in a 1v4. Whilst we've seen it work, I don't think it's going to work this time. Now going to start getting tagged up. Has no Zhonya's again. Has to flash away defensively. And now the flip is going to be there. Just misses. Swiffer will live. But that was so unneedlessly aggressive.
Yes, absolutely. On the knife's edge right there. He does come out victorious. Doesn't get a kill, but he lives. And I feel like at that stage, that is absolutely a victory in the 1v4.
I'm having heart attacks right now. You can see that, meanwhile, Mimic just takes top lane turret. Order's bottom lane swaps up here, and that means they should be able to stop out Rift Herald, which is currently being soloed.
And FBI's got a bit of a weird build right now, going for the tabbies, halfway to IE, and gets himself that weird little Kirchi shard. Kircha, I don't even know how to pronounce that one. But it's a bit rough. He did get first turret gold, of course, in the bottom side. It is a 1-for-1 turret trade, but Mimic picked that one up pretty late.
Yeah, he's 20 CS as well as a couple of kills above Raid right now. So you would say that he is the sole member of Order up at the moment. Yep, that's the case. About 1,100 gold.
Swiffer, of course, down in kills, but also, up in CS.
Rogue
so
is up. There we go.
Does that really count?
I don't know. You're the support
150 gold on his support. He's got a rejuvenation bead over his opponent there. Or at least a rejuve bead worth of
up into this lane.
Gold.
Looking for the wall. This is a huge momentum play again.
But Decoy has taken a big burst of damage. Raid wasn't even around, and they're kind of waiting for Sybil to get here. If they can actually get onto Order, Rogue's Mobies are kind of broken right now. Does not have it available, but Sybil's going to walk over the ping.
Spot out where Sybil is, and now all of a sudden Spooks is also here. Back pings are coming out of it, looks like Order, because Spooks very indecisive. And ultimately, they're not looking for the 3v3. They're waiting for Claire to re-show mid.
And finally, game number 4, Jake. And we've got an Air Drake to kick us off. No Infernals.
Yeah, no one's going near it. Have you noticed that?
No 4-minute Ocean Drakes.
No flash out of Claire. Oh, he does have flash. Oh.
barely survives that with the rip
gets
lands.
ripped back, and that will be a couple of soul shards picked up, but not all that much else.
And you've talked about the potency of the pass and the ability to rip back. These are just landing really when they unnecessarily shouldn't be, right? Like time and time again, these rips are happening when teams just don't really have the experience versus Swain. Very recent rework. Does get banned in like almost every solo queue game because on this patch, people just think he's straight up broken. So the reps potentially aren't in there.
Absolutely. As we see FBI and Rogue, even though they're ahead, no priority in the other two lanes still. So they can't get the shove. This game we see not the tanky Swain coming out. He has not gone towards Abyssal Mask. He has gone towards a Rod of Ages.
Yeah, splicing things up a little bit right now. Wants that a little bit of extra damage, of course, against a very squishy lineup of Legacy. So maybe just wants that burst potential, things like that. We have seen both right now. Sybil is on a little bit of vision, but will get spotted at bot side. But
picked up.
Spooks is in base, nowhere near to contest. And not to mention, he probably doesn't care too much about the air Drake going over.
Yeah, I think the fact that Spooks caught up in experience nearly is like good enough, because that early game was disastrous from Spooks. He was getting invaded left, right, and center if he cast from Mind back. Meanwhile, Talia is cheating topside, so you can see that Kate and Alistar are in potential one more time of being engaged upon. They actually go for the Alistar, they proc it, and he uses the ulti, but he is not that tanky. Flash forward into the pole and knocks back to Talia, who does not have any summoner spells. Will get picked up and shut down. Mimic now in the backline will get a huge two-man ulti. Tally is going forward onto Decoy. Spooks is there, and the fight will continue. Underneath the turret, Spooks will get stunned up. Mimic looking for another one, and this is an even trade so far, but can they continue? The two tanky members of Order rip back onto Raid, and the flash forward into Explosion. Finally, Sybil will look to join, but it is too late.
No, do they actually look? The boomerang lands. Sybil wants a piece of Tally. The look-up goes the wrong way.
Yeah, it certainly does, and now Tally is in massive trouble. The rip-back is there.
And the zombie
but the zombie now will be looking to do the work. He hasn't got the Glacial, so cannot get in there. And in the end, it is a 3-for-4 for Legacy, and they are still looking for Swiffer.
Does the boomerang land? Legacy?
Doesn't matter. He's gone.
Oh, he is. Swiffer's going to fall down, and that's a big turnaround fight for Legacy. That was a 4v5.
Yep.
Sybil's on the bottom-hand side of the map, and double TP came out of Order to match that one, and this was something Rogue gets caught out. It's a pretty nice play to turn this one around. They get the trade kill immediately. CC'd up. Flick barely misses. He throws the Talia into the middle of the fight, so Claire goes down, and they turn what would be a 4v5 into a 4v4, but this turnaround from Mimic, two members into the wall. Swiffer does get Raid on the back end, and Spooks and Tally tanking up the turret. This is Braum passive stun, means Spooks goes down. Eventually, Sybil will find his way into this one, but Sejuani ulti wasn't even used in the fight. So Spooks goes down without burning that one, and this was the end. We see it cleaned up. Very nicely played, the 2v2. Just kiting around slows. They have red buff on Sybil. Knockup goes the wrong way.
And this is just really well played by Sybil, because he's using the stealth to reapply the passive. He disengages when Cyan is here because it's temporarily a 2v2 again. But meanwhile, top lane, round 2 as you mentioned.
Rogue has no ulti.
Actually, there is an ulti out of Spook, so this is potentially the play that they're looking for. Flash forward, Red Smite.
He lives.
Looking for it. He does live, however. That will be Decoy falling down. And Tally is already here. Oh my god, this game.
It's like replay fight. What is going on? Order find themselves a kill.
Order has such good scaling. You feel like they just need to calm down. But they're throwing the kitchen sink time and time again.
Claire might just be looking for Spooks. He is on vision.
They've got inside track to mid lane. They actually use the Cyan ulti, and they corral him back into Spook. So this should be a kill. Very nicely done from Order. That one will go over to the jungler.
And they really can't get anything on opposite sides of the map. Swiffer is pushing this one in. Mimic is mega, but he will have time bot, but has no wave, really, for the most part. Is pinging the turret, so he will take that turret down eventually, given enough time, but picks coming out from Order means they get a turret topside, 2-for-1 now. And
Spooks is a genius, because the fact that he didn't use his ulti just led to 2 kills and a turret. I mean, who would have thought?
You were calling me the results-based analyst. Hey,
yeah.
What do you call that one?
That's a results-based analysis right there.
There you go.
They're actually pushing in, taking away the blue buff. I like to see it from Sybil, still on the front foot. Mimic is going to take bottom lane turret, push it back out to about a 1,500 gold advantage.
And he needs to be on the front foot. Sybil on this Kha'Zix already has the 2 kills, is working on his Dust Blade spike.
Mimic is about to Flame Horizon Tally.
Yeah.
And has 4 kills.
That's going to hurt.
Yeah.
He is going with the teamfight build, though, so it's not like he's gone in for the Black Cleaver into the Frozen Mallet, so he doesn't want to just...
he got Spectator?
Just want to, like, 100% bully Tally in the side lane. He's going for...
I don't think it matters.
Yeah? Well, I mean, he's got to bully him anyway.
I think if you're that far ahead, you're 2 levels up, you got yourself 2 solo turrets, as well as, like, a completed item over, you're bullying him You build Shirelia's Revelry right now. Wouldn't matter.
Yeah. Fortunately for him, it's not on this patch.
Oh, yeah,
that's an 8.6 item there.
Sorry.
So my bad. It was also like a 6-point whatever. I missed that item.
Yeah, that was a great item.
Yeah, we built like Annie back in the day. You know, Righteous Glory, the double speed buff, Shirelia's Revelry. It was like the Coin of Ascension, but it's just the same thing. It's been around for so long. And now it's gone. But it's back. 8.6, luckily. Dragon will be spawning in about a minute and a half, but Order looking to take down the mid turret.
Mid lane turret
pretty
access
low.
has been gained. This is
Raid's
strange.
the only one here.
Yeah. That was actually bad deploy coming out of Legacy, it must have been, because they sent Claire back towards the top side, which is where he should have been, but the fact that both Sybil and Decoy weren't there to support Raid meant he couldn't step up.
Just the recalls weren't staggered hard enough there. They all fall down.
Talia
so
wall comes. Ooh.
Did not get the lock in, so Claire doesn't take.
Look at where Mimic is as well. That would have been a huge team fight.
Absolutely, and
Mimic is now 3 levels higher than his counterpart.
He's huge. He's absolutely huge. Luckily for Tally, he's a tank.
Yep.
So he has CC. You always talk about you can't buy CC.
Yeah, but Mimic has CC as well. As Swiffer actually rips back Claire, goes into Demonic Ascension, and the jungler is here, but can he actually escape? Over the wall goes Swiffer. That's going to be the ultimate use, and he might have actually just killed more of his team members. Where is the ultimate out of Spooks? It is available. Will fling it actually
Sybil, no flash.
at Sybil. No flash. Headshot is there. 18 minutes in. That rip nearly hit, but that is going to be a flash forward and a double kill already. Make that a triple for FBI. And Order pick up a 4-0.
And suddenly the gold lead is completely equalized. FBI already sitting on his IE Shiv Spike, just got another 3 kills. Once again, Order find themselves with a victorious teamfight just before Baron spawning. So it will just be the Rift Herald and pressure on the map, potentially a turret topside going down unless Mimic has something to say for it, but big lead, right? They just completely negate Legacy's lead.
Yeah, they certainly do. And they've kind of traded sides of the map. Now, Mimic is a monster. When he joins team fights, he has legitimate kill threat. However, now FBI has been able to pick up some kills, and the fact that Mimic went a second item, MR item, now means that he is susceptible to some damage as we take another look at this.
And it was just off Claire getting caught here. The team collapses very quickly. Swiffer could have potentially blown him up right there, but he lives for just a little bit longer, but that just baits Legacy in further. Order do collapse. FBI comes over the wall. Spooks lands the ultimate onto Sybil, so Decoy sitting in the front lines. He goes down anyway. The flash comes out from Rogue to get onto the Ezreal, so all of the members on the screen for Legacy fall down, completely wipe the floor, and big advantage going over to Order.
Yeah, absolutely. Air Drake was just secured for Legacy, so they've got 2 of them. Rotation to team fights will happen very quickly, as Swiffer potentially caught out in the Baron pit, gets tagged up.
Nice little burn from a red buff there, you have to think. It will be the Mount.
However, meanwhile, they've somehow caught out the jungler, and that could just be the Baron.
It just spawned 9 seconds after 20 minutes there, and they immediately walk in topside. Legacy have a little bit of control, but Order just going to clear that one out. Rift Herald.
Actually, that's a big chunk onto Rogue. He now is half health and had to burn the ultimate Rift Herald mid lane. Do they still go for this?
That's a TP from Mimic. They know.
I mean, why not? They actually wall out half the members as well, so they will just peel off.
So, Order.
Do they just throw the ult? They do. Flash ulti out of Spooks does not land, and now they must go backwards.
Okay, Legacy. They burn a Talia wall, and they burn a TP to stop the 4v5 Baron coming out. Order do just, in the end, back away from that one, so they get a nice pick, nice little bit of gold, and still have map control around that area. Sybil has spawned now. Death time is pretty short. We're only 20 minutes into the game right now.
Yep.
Ulti, does it land?
Yep.
Nice chunk.
Huge chunk.
There you go. He has no life still.
Oh, that's going to be the root landing. However, that is Swiffer by himself. Will one more time go into Demonic Ascension. Will get flipped back. He has the Zonya's Hourglass this time around, and already Decoy is dead. Rips back Claire, and he Zonya's the huge ultimate out of Mimic, which means the fight will continue. Nice snipe by Raid. Over the wall goes Mimic, and now it is a split team fight. Still kiting backwards is Mimic. Raid is looking for these snipes. He will be able to find some. Oh,
low.
Sybil.
Can he block it? Can he?
Actually going to. No, he can't block it. Sybil goes over the top. Looked for FBI there. Nearly got him.
And Sybil almost gets the genius play, potentially blocking out the ace in the hole, but Raid eventually does die. Almost gets FBI, as you mentioned. That fight was so incredibly close. Raid gets onto the back line, and Decoy falls down early. Swiffer just lives for so long in these fights.
If he didn't Zonya's that ultimate out of Mimic, he would have died.
Yep, 100%. That was a big ulti out of Mimic. We talked about time and time again. Huge lead over Tally in the side lane. Not 100 CS yet. Has not Flame Horizon, as we're going to see this one again. Decoy just face-checking to Swain, and Swain just lives for so long. This is game number 2. We've seen him in like 1v4, just living for just so long. The ulti out of Mimic, huge, gets 4 members into the wall, but Raid goes over the wall, but they only have 1 damage dealer, and that's the big thing. Talia, not on your screen right now. 30 seconds till he's alive. Raid, very low mana, barely has enough to get over the wall, and Sybil almost cleans up the kill on FBI.
Yeah, this was really nice. You could see they were trying to stop the jump with the dash forward out of Sejuani, but that honestly nearly just cost him his life.
Absolutely. Very, very close there, Order. Continuing to pressure around the Baron.
So you've got an accelerated tank versus an accelerated carry. That's what this is going to come down to. Does FBI die? If so, no one can kill Mimic. Or does he stay alive and therefore he can kill Mimic and Order will be able to win the team fight? So far, it has gone in FBI's favor. He is 8, 2, and 5. But Mimic is still getting tankier.
And it's not just Mimic. Sybil is fairly even across the board, but that is still a Kha'Zix with assassination potential. You have to dodge out from any form of CC. FBI sitting on 3 items, working on his 4th, hasn't opted in for a QSS or any extra safety there. So
Talia is bottom lane because there's no teleport and they're just relying on the wall. And now they're going to have to face check. Oh, this game is on a knife's edge right now.
And because they're blue side, Sybil finds it significantly harder to check around the Baron. There's no bushes for him to be able to stealth through, as we saw him do last time they faced off against
potentially Spooks has been caught out here. We'll stick around. Actually,
gets
clicked up and goes for it. Swiffer on the back end. Do they just settle for decoy? In goes the choo-choo train. Gets a huge knockup. But Nah on the back line is looking for everyone. Gets them into the wall. And now the fight really begins. You can see Swiffer just zoning, looking for any forms of kill. And Mimic is... Actually, Swiffer goes forward, pops the Zhonya's, and now will potentially fall down. Gets the grass back, and that is crucial. Mimic and Decoy still continuing the fight. And you can just see they are so tanky, but unrelenting is FBI in this chase forward. And that actually flashed forward now from FBI will mean they pick up the kill, and Mimic is in big trouble.
And that's just it. They've got multiple damage threats. Swiffer falls incredibly low, but FBI is the one with 10 kills, 3 items right now. Are they tanky enough to do the Baron? Swiffer's probably going to TP back to this one, and they're going to be absolutely fine. Sybil is dead, so no real contest. Mimic might just be trying his best. Pings are going out, so they want to do something.
If Spooks dies, they will have to peel away, so he's getting out of range right now. You can see they're trying to get him into the pick. 6,000
he's so low.
Health. He is so low. He's going to have to smite for HP. It will be back up and available. Mimic's still looking for a combo. Is there? They rip him back. Now Spooks out of the health. He's gone out of the pit. Can Mimic steal it? Are they going to be able to grab it? Actually, it's going to be Kha'Zix that got the Baron, and Order fall down. 3 members dead. Triple kill for Claire, and Legacy are back in the game.
They barely hold on to this game. That would have been huge. 5-man Baron picked up, but 3 kills, and now they have complete priority in the map. They don't have a lot of turrets. There's so much standing gold. What is an even gold lead, 1k in their favor, will now just explode.
Certainly has the potential. It's now going to go up to 2. Mid lane turret will fall. They've still got 4 members here. Teleport not yet available from Mimic, but I don't think they can stop before the inhibitor. That is just a march down mid lane. 3 turrets now gone. And when does it actually stop?
Death timers are still gone for Order. 3 members not alive. FBI will spawn Swiffer another few seconds, but that's 4 turrets that will be taken down almost instantly off the back of the Baron. Sybil says, thanks for the leash.
Sybil actually sticking around here. Tally can go into ultimate. No, doesn't decide to do so. Instead, they're just going to look to recoup. What is that dragon? You feel like it must be a big one.
It is an Earth Drake. We saw that one before. Mimic, they're trying to buy enough time. Spooks actually tanked a single Baron auto because Tally steps a little bit too far away and Swiffer isn't tanking, so they get the damage onto Spooks. He has to leave the pit. He had to smite early before to even stick around. And the big cleanup, they barely get there in time.
I mean, you have to think a headbutt pole onto a Baron. If they used all their damage, that would have gone over to Order.
If they just tanked the Baron properly, they had a full HP Swain. Tally had about 25%, but Spooks took literally 1 auto, and that puts him to the point where he dies, so he has to back out. It's that microsecond mistake. Steal? Oh, no. Barely.
Close. You can see Sybil now very confident, dancing forward, takes an ultimate for his trouble, but he'll be able to heal that one back up.
And we saw Laura talk about his tweet yesterday, saying he didn't have a good performance against AV, but his mentality stayed the same now. Got outsmarted by only yesterday, so all of a sudden, back against the wall. If Order take that Baron, they're in completely good stead to take away this game.
Yeah.
And he just steals away the Baron right there in front of our screens, gets them a huge goal lead now, 4,000.
A 10-kill Caitlyn with Baron buff. This game would nearly be over. However, you can see without Mimic there, they're still not confident to step up to the turret completely.
The minion will do all the
They
work.
actually get Raid. In goes the choo-choo train, and they're going to be able to block. No, actually, he gets out. Decoy will fall, but that is a teleport in by Mimic. You can see headbutt pulverize, and the damage is starting to be done. Claire dancing forward. FBI is looking for him. Won't be able to flash on top. Tally will go down. Sybil now will be able to get out, and that is going to be on the wrong side. However, FBI falls so low, will just be able to live. But now Raid, and it's going to be able to clean up the back end of the fight. Swiffer is the last man alive. That is game. Right now, the Legacy will march towards the Nexus. We are going to game 5.
Order had control of the game for the last 10 minutes. All of a sudden, one Baron, one team fight, and they turn around. That is Baron 3 members onto the Nexus.
It certainly is, and at 2-0 down after 2 resounding victory, Order were looking strong, but the little train that could his Legacy just keeps on trugging, and they bring us to match point for game 5.
Wow. And that was the Talia into Swain all of a sudden. We've seen Cassio, we've seen Talia. Oh, multiple picks here, and that's rough from Order. I was saying, we were at this point last game, Jake, and you were like, yes, red side, they chose that one. It didn't change the draft. All of a sudden, Legacy had the momentum. The last 2 wins in their back pocket going into game 5. Sybil looking pretty happy.
Yeah, absolutely.
The one smite won them the game.
Got his Kazik, got the smite. Picked up the victory. Order with 3,000 gold up. Fell into a 6,000 gold hole, and they just could not climb back out of it.
And that's a frustrating game, especially for FBI. 10-2 on a Caitlyn. They were pushing the base of Legacy, honestly. They get a pick topside, completely wipe the floor. If they just reset and play that game out before the Baron, if that doesn't get taken away, they're just, as you mentioned, just in such good stead to take that one away. But Legacy,
and they have the scaling. We kept saying it.
Very dicey call, but they get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's Legacy's roll of the dice. Order had the scaling. They had the Scion, the Caitlyn that had 10 kills. But Legacy, I mean, Mimic, honestly, that game was MVP. Didn't fall down, was able to continually get big ultimates, and ultimately carried his team to victory.
And that's the thing, it kind of like slept under the radar. There were plays around the bottom lane, a few ganks top, but we're like watching the game get to 15 minutes, and you're like, hang on. Mimic is literally almost like 100 CS over Tally all of a sudden. Like, what does that do to the game? Completely changes it. And I feel like his Gnar, I don't think it actually has a very good win rate. Because Legacy have just lost a bunch of games. But Mimic, when he gets this champion, time and time again, I feel like Legacy might just be one of the best teams at like getting the huge Gnar combos off. And we just see it time and time again.
Yeah, certainly do. Was able to play around those windows. We said they were going to have to, when they do manage to do so. So we're going to game 5 for the second day in a row. And to break that game down further, let's throw it over to Laura and Tubes.
Thank you very much, guys. And Juice, we're going to a game 5. You said it yesterday. There's something about gauntlets where everything just goes to a game 5.
I told you, mandatory in OS. Don't even make gauntlets best of 5. Just make it 5 games. 5 games, and the winner takes it, which is the best of 5 anyway, really, because you're going to win 3-2.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it seems like Legacy have got this Swain pick worked out.
Yeah,
Swiffer picked it up 4 games, but the past 2 games, Legacy have gone...
I couldn't catch my breath. I ran downstairs. I was like, what the hell's going on?
Everyone's hearts are racing from this series.
Yeah, the Talia pick, okay, the idea behind Talia, I can understand why Talia is good into Swain, but I don't understand why... I never understood the Azir pick, and I still don't. Talia is good into Swain because you constantly shove mid lane, and we go back to this thing about priority. Like, once Talia shoves mid lane, because Talia doesn't even use her abilities in lane to damage Swain, because you don't need to. You use all your abilities to clear the minion waves, because you just one-shot minion waves with, like, your 3 ability combo, and then you can go top or go bot. You saw in that game, he went top every time with Kha'Zix, dove Tally like 2-3 times, and then in essence, there was a 3-level lead on the top lane late game, and he had like 100 CS lead. But in particular, this play highlights what I'm talking about Talia. He doesn't even have priority here, but Swain can't match this. So like, Order make like, okay, like I guess it was like an overzealous play, because they didn't take into consideration the Talia. It was really well read from Sybil, so it'd be bot lane too, but this is like why Talia is good into Swain, as I keep saying. But you can't match like this. And it forces basically anything that Order want to do in a side lane, they can't. Like, they literally can't if Talia ults up. And this is why, like, when you verse Talia, you should like always play around mid lane. And you saw that early. Like, they killed Claire, and they should have just kept pressuring Talia in the mid lane, because like, if you force her to stay under turret and she can't leave, or if you force her to stay under turret and then she has to lose 6 minions to leave, if she doesn't get a kill, she falls way too far behind. Because we saw at a certain point in that game, like Swain was starting to take over the game. You and I even said it upstairs. We were like, wow, like this this game's like looking a little grim for Legacy. But it was like that one Baron fight, which I just like, me and you were just like,
Well, let's talk about that Baron fight, because it looked like Order had the game. And
I said it was over. I said to you, it's over. Like 6 kill Caitlyn. FBI was going to carry this game. And Swain's just run over the game.
And then that Baron fight happened. We've got a replay of it, I believe. But can you talk us through what went so wrong for Order here?
So this is not the Baron. But no, this fight anyway was like really well played from Legacy. It started off like really well played from Rogue actually. Like he noticed real quick that Talia didn't have flash, and it was like good target selection from him. But Legacy played this really well. In particular, I want to highlight Braum and the Braum pick. Legacy first picked Braum, and you can see in this skirmish, he literally auto-attacked every single person under that tower. And you probably think, like, you see this Braum just like one auto-attack, one auto-attack, one auto-attack, and you're looking at it like, what's he doing? But like, they got to stun 2 to 3 people under turret just because of how Decoy played that. Decoy knew he was going to die, but his main objective was to try and stun as many people under the tower before he went down. So he's like the real hero there. But the way that Legacy played around this Talia pick and like made 5-man plays, or even though they weren't there at the time, they stalled for long enough to get everyone there and clean up fights, was really, really well done.
We also have to praise Mimic, because he popped off. He was levels above.
That's an import for you. That's an import slot right there. Like, that's when you know, like, when you forked out the check and he's come up big, you're like, yep, Big Daddy Carbon's happy tonight because he's just paid big bucks for Mimic, and Mimic's supplying the goods. But yeah, Mimic again just played this team fight so well. A lot of players in this situation would panic, whereas like they would go in too early and they would try to go in like to get them off the Baron. Mimic knew, like, worst case scenario, if they get Baron, we're going to clean them up anyway. And he just worked on his Mega, worked on his Mega, worked on his Mega, and then eventually he just landed some big stuns, big combos. Get my breath. And on the opposite side, of that, Order, it kind of felt like they panicked. Like, I really feel like that the label of a super team is playing into like kind of like a negative stigma in their Gauntlet series right now, because like they could have reset, not gone for that Baron, and won the game.
Well, Bryce has spoken about this desperation that they show in games like this.
Exactly. It really, like, the game for me as a viewer, I was like, I don't see how they lose this. Like, I literally, after they won that team fight, Kate's 2-fed, Swain was online, Sion Shaw is down 3 levels, or he's down 2 levels at the time, but that doesn't matter. Like, he's like, knock up, slow, and then you've done your job. Like, Caitlyn was going to melt through Nah. Nah only had a Randuin's. And it's just, they just felt like they needed to get that little bit extra. And in League, again, in high-level games, in games where there's a lot of pressure, when you try and get that little bit extra, when you try and overreach, it's like you get smacked on the hand. Like, you know when you get smacked on the hand with a ruler for doing something wrong? That's what happens, except this isn't a ruler, this is a Baron, and the game's over.
Did you ever get smacked on the hand with a ruler at school? Were you a bad kid?
No, I believe that was a thing back in the day. I grew up in a time where rulers on the hands were illegal.
Fair enough. So, Jews.
Yeah.
Order have opted for blue side. So they're going back to the side that they did win game 1 and 2 on. How do they mentally reset? What do they do going into this final game? Because there's a lot on the line for both of these teams.
I said Order wins 3-1, or if it goes to 5 games, Legacy win. So, like, what do you do if you're Order here? Because I actually don't know. Like, they've picked Swain, who's arguably the strongest mid in the game right now, yeah? And they haven't looked that good on it. Like, they've gone to 5 games, and Legacy haven't even batted an eyelid at it.
They've got it figured out.
They've got it figured out. So it's like, do you just let Swain go through the draft altogether? But then you have then Claire has the ability to pick it up later in the draft, and he's shown he's competent on it against AV. So I haven't thought about what Order do here. Like, I only thought about what Legacy should do because, like, they lost 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
I guess they just need to go to comfort, because it feels like maybe Swain isn't comfort. Maybe he's playing it because it is the flavor of the month, like it is the strong pick. I think get Swiffer on something that's real strong, get Spooks on a favorable jungle matchup, because again, Kha'Zix beats Sejuani, but the reason you play Sejuani into Kha'Zix is because you outscale him, and you get like, Sejuani late game, or mid to late game, is just infinitely more useful in team fights. And we saw that, like Order we're winning team fights. But I think you need to give priority over to Spooks. Swiffer, a real comfortable matchup in which he can abuse. And I think the rest of the map can stay the same. I think Tally needs to start playing a little bit better. Like, he has been left out to dry. He has been camped. But in this game, you have to realize that that's their win condition, and you can't give away kills like that.
We're going to have game number 5 coming up very shortly. But before we do jump
Oh, I just want to apologise for rambling. I'm really excited.
That's completely
Yeah,
fine.
it's
We're all
fine.
excited too.
I
It's a
am,
great
yeah.
series. Before we do get to game number 5, though, we have had another fantasy draft come into us, and this time it is from Callum, who says they want Sleeping in the top lane, Juves in the jungle, Luch in the mid lane, Dream as ADC, and Rosie as the support.
Yes. CDM lol. It's a good roster there, buddy. Sleeping, yeah, he's good. Juves, yeah, he's very good. Luch, yeah, he's good too. Dream, Rosie, yeah, I like it. It's got a mixture of youth and age, and I feel like that's like, you know, is it Powerpuff Girls? It's like all the spices and everything nice. That's like that team there. I did watch it. I don't care.
That is
Cartoon
such
Network.
a weird.
What about it? Hey, it takes a real man to watch that stuff.
I used to watch it too.
I know.
It's a good show.
It's a very good show.
Anyway, thank you so much for sending in your tweet to us. We're going to head to a break, but when we get back, we're going to have game number 5 between Order and Legacy. One of these teams will be facing the Chiefs tomorrow, and one of them will lock in their place at Rift Rivals. Don't go anywhere.
The pole and knocks back to Talia, who does not have any summoner spells. Will get picked up and shut down. Mimic now in the back line. Will get a huge 2-man ulti. Tally is going forward onto Decoy. Spooks is there, and the fight will continue. Underneath the turret, Spooks will get stunned up. Mimic looking for another one, and this is an even trade so far. But can they continue? The two tanky members of Order rip back onto Raid, and the flash forward into Explosion. Over the wall goes Swiffer. That's going to be the ultimate news. And he might have actually just killed more of his team members. Where is the ultimate out of Spooks? It is available. Will fling it actually
Sybil, no flash.
at Sybil. No flash. Headshot is there. 18 minutes in. Oh, that rip nearly hit. But that is going to be a flash forward and a double kill already. Make that a triple for FBI. He's gone out of the pit. Can Mimic steal it? Are they going to be able to grab it? Actually, it's going to be Kha'Zix that got the Baron. And Order fall down. 3 members dead. Triple kill for Claire, and Legacy are back in the game. Tibble now will be able to get out, and that is going to be on the wrong side. However, FBI falls so low, will just be able to live. But now Raid, and it's going to be able to clean up the back end of the fight. Swiffer is the last man alive. That is game. Right now, the Legacy will march towards the Nexus, but the little train that could that is Legacy just keeps on trugging, and they bring us to match point for game 5. Is taking a lot of damage. Goes into Demonic Ascension, and that is huge from Tally. Double kill now picked up for FBI, and with only 30 seconds left on Baron, potentially with that triple kill, Order can now look at the big purple worm. He's 1v3 right now, and they will have to pop the sunglasses. The bite comes down, and all of a sudden you have no damage threats there, and they're going to open up with the curtain call. Swiffer is still full HP in this team fight. Sybil will fall down. Decoy on the back end misses his flash into the wall, and an absolute disaster for the Legacy lineup. Doing so much damage. Claire has just been CC'd the whole time. FBI is dead. However, so is Claire right now. Ornhorn will land on 4 members, but Rogue will now fall down. And can they even win this team fight? Great interrupt out of Orn. Sorry, not out of Orn, out of Scion there. And this is a bloodbath. Legacy are about to ace Order at 11 minutes into the game. Tibble now will be able to get out, and that is going to be on the wrong side. However, FBI falls so low, will just be able to live. But now Raid, and it's going to be able to clean up the back end of the fight. Swiffer is the last man alive. That is game. Right now, the Legacy will march towards the Nexus. We are going to game 5.